1 year ago, Dave Villwock took home the Columbia Cup trophy driving the Pico American Dream. Now he's driving Miss Budweiser with 4 wins in a row. Today, a dozen other teams will try to stop that streak on Washington's Columbia River. The Jasper Unlimited Hydroplane Thunder Tour Series. Richland, Kennewick, and Pasco, Washington, locally known as the Tri-Cites, home of the Budweiser Columbia Cup and home to thousands of hydroplane fans who've come to witness the halfway point of the 1997 Jasper Unlimited Hydroplane Thunder Tour presented by Las Vegas, the first race of 3 back-to-back weekends. It is a beautiful sunny day along the Columbia River. It's going to be hot here, but nowhere near as hot as the field, the fastest qualifying field ever in the history of unlimited hydroplane racing. Hi, everybody. I'm John Mickelson. Welcome to the Tri-Cities area of Washington. The man to beat here once again, Dave Villwock, who qualified at over 163 miles an hour on the Miss Budweiser. But there are half a dozen boats or so who are fairly close this time. Dave also has the opportunity to tie a record for the most heats won in a row. That would be 20. If he gets all 4 here, he will tie the late Dean Chenoweth.
The record's really tough. I mean, especially now in the new heat format that the second heat's reversed. So I don't get to start from anywhere on a start clock like they used to when they set all those records. The second heat, I have to start from the worst position on the race course, which is outside of the fastest field of boats in history here this weekend. So it's going to be a big pass, but you know, we've been there before. We're just going to give it our best shot.
Mark Tate on the close call is making it an even closer call now, qualifying within 2 miles an hour of the Budweiser. The team has improved tremendously in recent weeks and now stands in second place in the O'Doul's point standings.
Going against Ms. Budweiser, you know, we got to keep the pressure on her. She's got a big points lead on us. And if we can keep some pressure on her, beat her in a few heats, maybe push her, maybe they can start having some bad luck down there at that end, and we can close up the gap and make a real race for the championship.
Here are the qualifying speeds for the field. Note the first 7 boats are within 5 miles an hour of each other. Now, earlier today in testing, Mark Evans drove the Pico boat to a speed of 164. Remember, Pico's had troubles throughout the earlier races. The rivalry between Bud and Pico hasn't happened. More on that from 3-time Columbia Cup winner Tom Dean.
Pico American Dream, last year's national champion, driven this year by Mark Evans. His fate has been sealed early in the last couple of final heats with a couple of DNFs. Mark, that's got to be frustrating.
It was really frustrating to run as well as we did prior to that, winning a few heats, then getting out there in the final and going down. It was discouraging.
You qualified 3rd, but then you had some problems in practice?
We went out and was testing the boat, and we ended up throwing a propeller blade off, which ended up ruining the strut. But the guys stayed up all night, got a new strut put on the boat, and we're ready to go.
Well, you did real good this morning, went out doing a 164. It's got to make the whole team feel better.
Oh, yeah, they were all grins when I came back to the dock. They were pumped up. That makes me feel good, makes everybody feel good. So woke up the rest of the crews. We're ready to race, and I think we're going to have some good racing today.
Let's check the O'Doul's points coming in after 4 events. Miss Budweiser, of course, is on top. Close call now in second place, and DeWalt Tools holding on for 3rd. And a quick look at the course here.
It's a 2.5-mile oval with a fast current which carries the rough water into the turns.
And we'll talk about that more as we go through the heats. 2 rookies qualified here. John Watkins in the Miss Tri-Cities, the fastest rookie qualifier ever. So what surprises him about driving an unlimited?
The wake-up call on the big boats here versus racing the limiteds is the G-forces. When you go into the corner at 180 miles an hour and don't lift your foot, it slams you hard up against the side of the cockpit. So it's a lot of G-force out there.
We are just about set to go with Heat 1A. Mark Tate draws the inside lane. Mark Evans right next to him, and his brother Mitch in lane 3. The trailer in this one will be the rookie John Watkins in Miss Tri-Cities. The pace boat will bring them up to the starting line, looking for that green flag here. And we've got it. Pico in lane 2, close call in lane 1. Mark Evans making a pretty good run off the start, but so far Tate is holding it into the turn here. The turns are crucial.
Very tight corners here, 1,100 feet, but close calls leading the Pico, going into the corner, running a fast line through that turn.
With each successive lap, and this is a 3-lap heat, it gets rougher, particularly on that downstream turn. Now, Evans has grabbed the lead in lane 2 over close call. Looks like Mark Tate had a tough time going through there.
And the Pico getting a little bit light on the backstretch. Mark Tate in hot pursuit in second place on the inside.
Tate trying to make up a little bit of water there on Mark Evans. And he gets a little bit light.
Whoa, very light. We're on board with Mark Tate now. You can see the rooster tail off to the right. He's chasing the Pico American Dream. What Mark Evans is doing is giving him some bad water. He's got to cross the weight.
Mark Tate is a heck of a driver, bringing the close call back after a tough start. Fred Leland, the owner of the Pico, looking on, and he is really into it. As we check from the Labatt Eye in the Sky, you can see the race for second now between close call right at the bottom of the screen heading to the right, and Michael Hansen and DeWalt Tools trying to come up on him.
This is the downstream turn. It's turn 1, and the current carries the rough water swirling.
See Michael Hansen skidding a bit as he went through the turn. Now here's Mark Tate trying to make up water on Mark Evans and Pico. And in turn, Michael Hansen trying to move up on close call and DeWalt Tools.
One of the things that Mark Evans as a driver is doing is he's reading the water out in front of his boat, and he's trying to leave the boats in second and third place, the nasty water, which is going to slow him down.
The Zodiac average lap speed 152 miles an hour for Pico in the lead, and the team has really worked. The crew has really been at it, bringing this boat up to speed.
Well, they put a new strut on the boat, and they have it on there perfectly, because I'll tell you what, the ride this boat's getting is phenomenal.
Mark Tate, though, is closing the gap a bit on Pico. Evans still holding the lead. One more time into that downstream turn, followed by close call, and then DeWalt Tools, and then the Gargoyles Nitro with Steve David driving. 144 miles an hour, the Zodiac average lap speed for Mark Tate. He's got it going, although that's 8 miles an hour slower than the lap speed earlier by Pico.
Actually, a real close race for first, second, and third. Both boats are distance about the same.
Very important to keep good, solid control of that boat. He's got one more turn to go through, does Mark Evans, to take Heat 1A here on the Columbia River. Sponsor to sponsor in a bit, but good control indeed for him. He is going to take the checkered flag. Our first winner, second place. Mark Tate in the close call, a good run. And Michael Hansen, the pride of Madison, Indiana, in third with the DeWalt Tools. Stephen David will get fourth in the Gargoyles Nitro. That's the Jim Harvey U2. And as we check the Fruit of the Loom results, we see our rookie, John Watkins, did finish, but only the first 6 places get points, so he does not get any here.
From a driver's point of view, talk us through the start in that first turn.
Well, going into the first turn, you're really going to have to settle the boat. I did settle it, I thought, well enough, and got after the pedals and dropped the canard to try and keep as much air under it as I could after I settled it. We just hit some rollers, though, and reacted just past the apex, and I'm just going to have to drive the boat a little different in racing conditions.
It looked like it jumped up and changed a couple of lanes and drifted over a little bit. Did it do that?
Absolutely, Tom. It's exactly what it did. Once it hit a couple of holes, the boat just kind of picked up and lifted across a couple lanes, and you know, you got to de-accelerate a little bit there, correct, and by the time you get back after the power, the guys have caught you and they got their full power and going by you. So it's not what we had hoped for, but it's kind of what we expected.
And the boat's now warming up for Heat 1B. Jerry Hale, the rookie, will be the trailer in this one, as John Watkins was in Heat 1A. By contrast, the two backgrounds of the rookies quite different. Watkins, a former crew member. Hale's been driving smaller boats for 3 decades. Calls himself the oldest rookie.
There's nothing like the ride of a hydroplane in the whole world. And, you know, once you've been doing that for 30 years, you become pretty familiar with it. And, of course, that was there. But the overall speed and, again, hustling through the turns has been the difference.
Here is the lineup for Heat 1B, and the odds-on favorite will be Dave Villwock in Miss Budweiser. Mark Webber was the 7th qualifier. He is the next closest qualifier to Budweiser in this heat. And again, Jerry Hale will be the trailer in Heat 1B. As they get set to head up for the hoped-for green flag here. They're going to get it. And Dave Villwock in pursuit of the streak jumps out to a quick lead on the outside, though. A couple of pretty fast boats. They've got a long way to go.
None of the other fast qualifiers are in this heat, though. Team Steel, Mark Webber is the 7th fastest qualifier. Budweiser on the inside, sneaking through the first turn.
Again, a little light there by Dave Villwock, but I'd say he's got it under control.
Well, in Heat 1A, the lane 1 was pretty rough, and it looks like, though, Dave Villwock and the Budweiser just skated through that first turn beautifully.
He has got that boat. This is the T5, the newest of the Budweiser boats. The crew has got it set up extremely well, and he is one heck of a driver, as just shown by his record this year alone. Yet to lose.
Perfect score so far, and very cautious, though, in this opening heat for the Budweiser for today's racing. Team Steel, Mark Webber, a real strong second place.
Nate Brown in truck gear third, and here is Jimmy King in Elstrom's Elam Plus in fourth, going through the slop. The race for second between Steel and truck gear looks like a good one. Steel bouncing sponson to sponson going into that downriver turn. Bernie Little on the dock cheering on his Miss Budweiser, as he always does. He looks pretty satisfied to this moment. We're beyond the halfway point now, and Dave Villwock with a really solid lead going along the backstretch in Miss Budweiser. What about the pressure of never having lost so far this year?
Well, the pressure really is Dave puts on himself, because he's trying to tie that streak, and if you know, and break it if he can. But the pressure is really from within.
147 miles an hour, the average lap speed of the Zodiac time. Mark Webber still strong in the Steel. From the Levat Eye in the sky, you see the lead that Villwock has in the Budweiser, and you see the tough conditions going around that downstream turn. One last time for David. Handles it very well. Closer than you might think is Mark Webber, and now coming along the inside, Nate Brown in truck gear. 142 miles an hour on the Zodiac average lap speed for Team Steel. Mark Webber now we would call the man of steel. But Dave Villwock is the man who has not really been pressed very much so far this year. Here comes Budweiser looking for the checkered flag in Heat 1B. And Dave Villwock takes yet another one. That is 17 wins in a row. Mark Webber will take second in Fred Leland's Team Steel. Jimmy King in Elstrom's Miss Elam Plus grabs third, and Nate Brown in the truck gear, something has slowed him down. But all the boats have finished Heat 1B, and down on the dock, Tom is with Bernie Little, 9-time winner here since 1966.
Now that we've seen two heats of competition, what's your thoughts on lane choice?
Well, you know, I'm not so sure that lane one is the place to be, and I want to wait and talk to Dave a little bit. I don't know. I never seen it so rough on the Columbia River. That's really rough. I think that there's so much snow and melted, and it's put the most current in here that I've ever seen, and I think that's working against us. And but that's the roughest racing I've seen on the Columbia River.
Rough as it might have been, effective driving by Dave Villwock. 400 points again as we check the Fruit of the Loom results. And the Spirit of Lake Chelan, the piston-powered boat, at the bottom of the standings there. Can Dave Villwock keep winning? We'll be back to find out. Welcome back to the Budweiser Columbia Cup as we fly over the Tri-Cities area here in the high desert of southern Washington, nearing the start of Heat 2A. Tom is down in the pits with our first rookie to withdraw.
What specifically is wrong with the Miss Tri-Cities?
Well, we got major crack inside the hull. Difficult to see from the outside. It looks fine from outside, but if you look close, we got a major crack running basically up the backside of the sponson all the way to the bottom of the boat. So a difficult one to get at, difficult one to patch. So like I said, can't see it from the outside, but we know it's there. We don't want to risk it.
Ken Muscatel has problems too. He lost a tail and high wing, but he's going to run as we check the 2A starting lineup. It's reverse order from the previous heat, so Ken Muscatel, gets the inside. Dave Villwock next to the outside. The piston-powered Spirit of Lake Chelan will be the pace boat. And as we go for the green flag, how does Budweiser get past the four boats inside him?
Well, he's got to time the start perfectly, the green flag start, and he's got to actually stay wide enough, long enough, so he doesn't foul any of the other boats.
As we go around that first downriver turn, the Elstrom's Elam Plus with Jimmy King falling back, and apparently the engine is not going to work anymore. But we have got a race into the backstretch. In the front now, Dave Villwock jumping ahead of Michael Hansen and DeWalt Tools, and trying to keep up is Mitch Evans in the Packet Engines Appy and Geronimo. Look at the power of Budweiser. Ken Muscatel now has fallen back, so Mitch Evans here in the Packet Engines Appy and Geronimo has the inside track and is moving up. into second place, past DeWalt Tools and Michael Hansen as we go into the turn. Budweiser on the outside, still with the lead, and DeWalt now in third place.
Budweiser must be running like a 3-mile course because he's really staying wide, giving everybody inside him lots of room.
But flying just a little right here.
We're in the cockpit now with Dave, and you can see him getting bounced around. The steering wheel shaking and his body just vibrating.
You've got to be in terrific physical shape to drive these boats. Mitch Evans, who took second in the Detroit Gold Cup behind Bill Walk this year, running a strong race in Appian Geronimo, and Michael Hansen now is hanging on in third with the Madison, Indiana DeWalt Tools.
Jerry Rice has got to be extremely happy. His boat's running a strong second place. He's got DeWalt on his hip, and it looks like they're doing a fine job.
Average lap speed of 152 miles an hour from Michael Hansen on the Zodiac lap timer, and Budweiser at 149 miles an hour, but he's got the lead and doesn't have to go as fast.
Now he can kind of put it on cruise control and just look for the good water. At this point, he's got the race well in hand with less than a lap to go.
This will be, if he can do it, 18 wins in a row in heats for Dave Villwock in Miss Budweiser. The only heat he lost, he actually came in first but was penalized, the first heat of the season in Detroit. 156 miles an hour of the Zodiac average speed, and oh, the crew was loving it on the dock for the Jerry Rise Appian Geronimo team. But Mitch Evans is still in second. Dave Villwock right here is in first, and he will take the checkered flag to win Heat 2A. Bernie, very happy as usual. Dave removes the required safety mask, and we'll head into the docks as we check the results. Once again, Budweiser on top. Ken Muscatel got all the way through and picked up some points. Here's Tom with a winner.
Another win from lane 5, though, this time.
Well, the Bud team gave me a lot of suds right there, boy. Boat ran awful good. A lot of straightaway speed, so we're able to get it out front and, you know, get away from the boys. But good boat ride too. You know, it's tough to get a good boat ride. You know, you can have a lot of speed, but if you can't use it, it doesn't do it a heck of a lot of good. So, you know, it was nice that we could run the boat as hard as we could and still run it through in lane 5 with a lot of speed on the outside here. So
You gave us a little excitement, though. Lap 2 coming into this corner, got up on its side.
yeah, a little bit, but what the heck, that just makes boat racing fun.
Well, Dave qualified first. The next 2 qualifiers are coming up in the next heat, along with this guy, rookie Jerry Hale.